Thank you for being here today. I am going to walk you through everything you need to know about the JLPT, the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. Whether you are completely new to this topic or just want a quick refresher, I will keep things simple and practical. Let's get started. Today, we will cover 9 things. 1. What is the JLPT? 2. What makes it unique? 3. N4 and N5. 4. Why does it matter? 5. How the test works? 6. How scoring works? 7. When do results come out? 8. Key takeaways. And finally, Q&A. We will move through each section in order, so feel free to hold your questions until the end. So, what exactly is the JLPT? Think of it as the global standard for measuring Japanese language ability. It is an official certification test designed for anyone who is learning Japanese as a second language. It was first launched in 1984 with around 7,000 test takers worldwide. That might sound small, but fast forward to today, and it has become the largest Japanese language test in the world. Here are a few numbers that put its scale into perspective. The test is now held in 81 countries and regions across 286 cities. And the demand keeps growing. There are currently about 239,000 Japanese learners in Japan and 3.65 million learners overseas. For most of them, passing the JLPT is the clearest way to prove their skills. In 2025, there were approximately 1.9 million applicants worldwide, the largest number ever recorded. Now, what sets the JLPT apart from other language tests? There are 2 key points I want you to remember. The first point is that it tests real-world communication, not just textbook knowledge. It measures 2 things. First, how much Japanese you know, vocabulary, grammar, and written characters. Second, how well you can actually use that knowledge in real situations. To test both, the JLPT is made up of 3 sections: language knowledge, which tests vocabulary and grammar; reading, which tests whether you can understand written Japanese; and listening, which tests whether you can follow spoken Japanese. Everything is multiple choice, so there is no speaking or writing portion. This makes it a large-scale standardized test that can be delivered consistently around the world. The second point is that there is a level for everyone. The JLPT is not a one-size-fits-all test. It has 5 levels from N5, the most beginner-friendly, to N1, the most advanced. N5 and N4 are for learners who are building their foundation in the classroom. N3 is a stepping stone in the middle, and N1 and N2 are for learners who can handle Japanese in real everyday situations. Each level has its own separate test, so people can choose the level that fits where they are right now. You can only sit 1 level per test session, not multiple levels at once. Let's take a closer look at the 2 entry-level certifications, N4 and N5. These are the most relevant for learners who are just getting started. If you are familiar with popular Japanese textbooks like Minano Nihongo or Genki, here is how they map to the JLPT levels. Finishing Book 1 puts you at roughly N5. Finishing both Book 1 and Book 2 puts you at roughly N4. N5 is the beginner level, requiring around 150 to 300 hours of study. At this level, learners can read basic Japanese characters and follow short, slow conversations about everyday topics. Think of it as being able to handle simple situations, ordering food, asking for directions, understanding basic instructions. The target is around 800 words and 100 basic characters. N4 is the elementary level, requiring around 300 to 600 hours of study. At this level, learners can read passages on familiar topics and follow conversations at a slower pace. Think of it as being able to get through daily life in Japan with some confidence, shopping, talking with colleagues, reading signs and simple notices. The target is around 1,500 words and 300 characters. One important thing to know, textbooks alone are usually not quite enough to pass. There are 3 areas where learners typically need extra practice. Vocabulary. Textbooks cover most of it, but 100 to 300 words are often missing. Kanji reading. Both pronunciations of the same character are tested, so a dedicated kanji workbook helps. And listening speed. The test audio is slightly faster than textbook dialogues, so extra listening practice is recommended. The bottom line is this. Textbooks build the grammar foundation, but vocabulary, kanji, and listing are where learners need to put in extra work. This is where things get really interesting. The JLPT certificate is not just a piece of paper. It opens real doors in 4 major areas. First, higher education. Many Japanese universities and graduate programs require JLPT results as part of the application process. N1 and N2 are typically what universities are looking for, and holding one of these levels can make a candidate stand out significantly. Employment and career growth. Japanese companies, both inside Japan and internationally, use JLPT results as a hiring and promotion standard. For roles that require Japanese communication, having the right level on your resume signals that you are ready to work. Third, professional licensing. In fields like nursing, caregiving, and healthcare, JLPT certification can be a required step toward taking national qualification exams. This is especially relevant for workers coming to Japan through Fourth, visa and residency applications. For people living in Japan long-term, JLPT results can support applications for permanent residency or naturalization. Higher levels like N1 and N2 also add points under Japan's highly skilled professional visa point system. In short, the JLPT is not just for students. It is a credential with real practical value across education, career, and everyday life in Japan. Let's look at what test day actually looks like for N4 and N5 candidates. Both levels have 3 sections. Section 1 is language knowledge, covering characters and vocabulary. Section 2 is language knowledge and reading combined. Section 3 is listening. For N4, Section 1 takes 30 minutes, Section 2 takes 60 minutes, and Section 3 takes 35 minutes. That is about 2 hours and 5 minutes in total. For N5, Section 1 takes 25 minutes, Section 2 takes 50 minutes, and Section 3 takes 30 minutes. That is about 1 hour and 45 minutes in total. All answers are marked on a multiple-choice answer sheet. Let's talk about how the scores work and what it actually takes to pass. For N4 and N5, the total score is broken into 2 parts. Language knowledge and reading combined is worth 0 to 120 points. Listening is worth 0 to 60 points. The total possible score is 180 points. Here is the important part. To pass, a candidate needs to meet 2 conditions, not just one. Condition 1. The total score must reach the passing threshold, that is 90 points for N4 and 80 points for N5. Condition 2. Each individual section must also reach its own minimum score, that is 38 points for language knowledge and reading and 19 points for listening. This means you cannot pass by being strong in one area and ignoring another. If your listening score falls below 19, even with a great overall total, you do not pass. This scoring design encourages balanced, well-rounded learning. After the test, results are released roughly 2 to 3 months later. July test results are available around early October. December test results are available around late February to early March of the following year. Results can be checked online. Candidates who pass receive an official certificate of proficiency. There is no expiry date on this certificate. Once you earn it, it is yours for life. Let me leave you with the big picture. The JLPT is the world's largest Japanese language test held in 81 countries and 286 cities. It tests real communication ability, reading, listening, and language knowledge all in one standardized format. 5 levels mean there is an entry point for every learner from absolute beginner to advanced professional. And passing the JLPT creates real opportunities in university, at work, and for life in Japan. For more information, visit the official website at jlpt.jp. Registration is done online for both domestic and overseas applicants. That brings us to the end of today's presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I am happy to take any questions you have.